Hi, my name is Chin Yi, A214122, and I'll be presenting a speech on banning euthanasia. Life is not disposable. Imagine this. In countries where euthanasia is legal, studies show that over 1 in 20 assisted deaths happen without the patient's explicit consent. Even more alarming, in some places, people with disabilities, depression, or even poverty are choosing death, not because they are terminally ill, but because they feel like a burden. This isn't compassion. This is a system that tells the most vulnerable your life isn't worth fighting for. You may think this doesn't affect you, but euthanasia laws shape how we value life. It's about your grandparents feeling like a burden, your sick friend being offered death over care, and future doctors prioritizing cost over compassion. If we normalize it now, who's protected later? After months of researching euthanasia for medical data to voices like Brown, I'm not here to share opinions but facts. And this issue is also personal. I've watched loved ones suffer through terminal illness and seen firsthand how easily choice can become coercion when society starts measuring a life's worth by its suffering. Euthanasia must remain banned because it devalues human life, puts vulnerable populations at risk, and creates a dangerous precedent where mercy killing could become a substitute for proper medical and social care. Today, I will expose 3 critical dangers of legalizing euthanasia: how it evokes the sanctity of life by treating human beings as disposable, the terrifying reality of how it targets the vulnerable from the disabled to the depressed, and the slippery slope where euthanasia is expanding from terminal illness to mental health cases. By the end, you see why this isn't compassion, it's abandonment. The core issue is the value of human life. Legalizing euthanasia doesn't just change medicine, it shifts our moral compass, letting society decide which lives are worth living. Legalizing euthanasia risks turning life into a conditional commodity. The Unscoping Bioethics Center wants it shifts medicine from saving lives to promoting a duty to die, perjuring the vulnerable and undermining trust in care. Brown adds that euthanasia laws suggest some lives, especially those with disabilities, are less worth living. Many choose death not from freedom, but from fear. The Unscoping Bioethics Center shows that up to 90% of physical and of life suffering can be effectively managed with proper palliative care, making euthanasia largely medically unnecessary. Belgium's Euthanasia Commission reports 1 in 5 cases occur without explicit consent, often without offering palliative care, showing how inadequate care can make death a default, not a choice. Euthanasia debates focus on autonomy, but why do some feel death is their only option? A 2024 study found lower suicide rates in areas with more community spaces, showing support saves lives. Often, euthanasia reflects isolation, not true choice. Now consider the profound benefits we preserve by rejecting euthanasia, not just avoiding harm, but affirming what makes us human. Where euthanasia spreads, we see despair disguised as mercy. But where we hold the line for life, we build something extraordinary. A society that fights for its vulnerable rather than abandoning them to death. When we talk about banning euthanasia, we are not simply debating medical procedures. We are choosing the kind of society we want to live for the next generation. By saying no to euthanasia, we safeguard 3 irreplaceable pillars that shape a just and compassionate society. Firstly, in Canada, it's being considered even for mental illness alone. If that's possible there, where does it stop? What message are we sending to the vulnerable? Offering help on exit? True healthcare should fight for life, not make death the easiest option. Protecting medical ethics ensures doctors stay committed to care, dignity, and every life's value. Secondly, Real compassion reduces harm. So suicide prevention for the chronically ill cuts suicide rates by up to 80% with proper care. As Houlihan notes, compassion means real help, not death. We need systems that offer dignity and support, not euthanasia as a first response. Thirdly, legalizing euthanasia risks abandoning the very people we should be protecting. Disability communities don't thrive when offered a fast track to death. They thrive when society responds to suffering with care, inclusion, and support. Assisted death risks sending message that disabled or ill lives are less worthy. Many seek it not from pain, but from feeling like burden. That's not care but neglect. Before we leave this critical discussion, let's clearly see what's at stake. Euthanasia reduces life value to calculation. It endangers the vulnerable when they need care. And once legalized, it quickly extends beyond the terminally ill. So I ask you, not just to listen but to act. How we respond to suffering reveals who we are. When politicians speak of death with dignity, push back. True dignity isn't in a syringe. It's in care that reaches. Communities that stay, and systems that don't give up on the struggling. When media romanticizes assisted death, ask for the full story. Of those who choose it not out of freedom, but because they feel forgotten. Whether you're in healthcare, policy, or just have a voice, use it. Make life livable, not replaceable. And beyond all that, be present. Let your presence say you matter. And let us be a society that sees every life as worthy, just because it is human. Some will call this view radical. I call it basic human decency. A society is judged not by how it treats its strong, but by how it protects its weak. The euthanasia movement asks us to abandon this sacred duty. We must refuse, not just with words today, but with actions tomorrow. Because when we say life is not disposable, we don't mean some lives, we mean every single one. Thank you.